Beginner's yoga. Let's begin in the center of our mats, please, and we'll start with mountain pose. We'll go for about 30 minutes today, maybe a little more, maybe a little less. So let's begin at the beginning. Let's get our feet more or less under our hip bones. It's the hip bones. When we say feet are hip width apart, it's based on the structure of your bones. So your hip bones are more or less here, feet more or less right under your hips. Do your best to point your feet and your toes forward. The next thing to look at is your knees. The outside edges of your knees should also point forward. Tone your legs. You're trying to keep your legs vertical and you want to rotate your pelvis. It's called a posterior pelvic tilt. Your tailbone pushes down, your pubic bone lifts up without disturbing the vertical nature of your femur bones. Shrug your shoulders down and just gently kind of bring your shoulder blades together, just a little tiny bit. Bring your hands to heart center in a prayer fashion. Breathe. Now as you're standing here, you're working all of those elements. You're working on spreading your toes wide. You're working on keeping your legs toned, about 20%. You're working on constantly trying to get the posterior pelvic tilt. Sometimes things are going to feel stuck, and that's okay. That's where the work is. When you have that resistance in your muscles or in your skeletons, that's where you get the strength, because you're pushing against those. It's an internal resistance. So instead of using a dumbbell to tone your legs, you're using your own structure to tone your legs, tone your hips, and tone your abs. So keep working against those resistances. Get tall, pull your face straight back, breathe in and out through your nose, please. You try to fill from your tummy and exhale through your tummy. So you fill up as you inhale. Your tummy fills, it goes up into your rib cage. It may or may not make it all the way up to your clavicles, and that's okay. And as you exhale, it goes out. Same way. Inhale. Exhale. In and out through your nose, and just try to make it as easy as possible. Now, I'm going to turn sideways, and we're going to try to combine mountain pose with breathing. Integrate our arms. It's called breathing mountain pose. Hands to heart center. As you inhale, bring your hands down, out, and up in a half circle. This is inhale. As you exhale, bring your hands through heart center in a prayer fashion. That completes the circle and that completes the breath. Another cycle. Inhale, down, out, and up. Exhale, hands come through heart center. Now as you're going through and practicing breathing mountain pose, pay attention that your mountain doesn't get disturbed. Because sometimes we're not aware that maybe we rock back and forth. We lean forward as the hands come out. We lean backwards as the hands come in. And before you know it, we're kind of rocking back and forth or shifting left and right. Try to brace yourself from the ground up. Keep your mountain still. As you breathe, move your arms. Inhale. Exhale. Let's go one more cycle. Inhale. Exhale. Hands to heart center. Take a second and just recharge your mountain pose. Refine whatever needs to be refined. Fix whatever needs to be fixed. Get in a big inhale. Exhale, drop your hands. Good. So let's take a second and work a little bit on extended arms mountain pose. Now, if you cannot get your hands up overhead, this is extended arms mountain pose. You bring your arms up overhead, it's extended arms mountain pose. If you cannot do this, it's okay. You do the best with what you can. This might be your extended arms mountain pose, and that's fine. As long as you practice with honesty and with integrity, doing the best you can with what you've got, you're going to benefit from yoga. Okay, so here's what we're going to try. If you're facing me, this is your left arm. This is my right arm, your left arm. Straighten your left arm. I'll turn sideways, maybe you can see a little better. With your opposite hand, this is my left hand, just grab on the inside of your arm here, and you're going to try to manually rotate from the inside seam of your inner arm over your biceps to the outside seam of your arm. So roll it this way. Roll it this way. It's called external rotation. So as you're externally rotating your arm manually here, keep your arm straight. See if that will help create space to help you get your arm up overhead. Now once the arm is overhead, I kind of switch techniques. I start using my thumb. So my left thumb is assisting to externally rotate my right arm. It's turning this way. Just see if that manual assist helps to create space that you can get one arm over your head. If it's not possible, that's okay. Do the best you can with what you got. Opposite arm. First we use the four fingers, in this case my right hand, and I'm externally rotating the humerus bone. I'm manually trying to turn the long arm bone externally. Just to get a feel of what it's like to create space and stability in the shoulder. Bring the arm up overhead. And once you get to a certain point, you might need to switch techniques. This is when your thumb, in this case my right thumb, is helping to externally rotate my left arm. We just do one arm at a time. See how that feels. See if it helps create stability and mobility through the shoulder joint. Sometimes our muscles are restricted, just maybe because we haven't programmed it with our mind, so we can override that a little bit with some manual work here. Good. Now we'll try both arms. Trying to recall that feeling of the external rotation. So in mountain pose, externally rotate your arms, bring your arms up overhead, if possible. This is called extended arms mountain pose. But you're trying to constantly externally rotate that humerus bone. Bring your shoulder blades a little bit closer to your spine. Hold and breathe. If you don't have your arms up overhead, it's okay. Do the best you can with what you got. But this hands overhead position is going to come in handy in the next couple of poses. One more inhale. Exhale, hands to heart center. And bring your arms down. Okay, good. Now we're going to try to integrate that into what's called pyramid pose preparation. Try to say that 3 times fast. Okay, so we come to the short end of the mat. In this case, I'm going to start at my left foot. Keeping both legs pretty straight, drag your right foot straight back into a scissor stance. Take a second, make sure your front leg is more or less pointing forward. If you can, double check that your rear leg is pointing forward. More than likely, you're going to have to internally rotate this rear leg a little bit. That means you have to turn your outside, your rear heel out. Take a second, square off your hips. You can feel the bony protrusions in the front of your hips. Point them both forward. If it's possible, bring both arms up overhead. Breathe. So you're trying to work that external rotation of the humerus. Try to squeeze the shoulder blades together to your spine. And you're trying to do a posterior pelvic tilt through your pelvis. So it's just like extended arms mountain pose in a scissor stance. Breathe. If your arms are not overhead, that's okay. Your arms can be here, and that's fine. Your arms can be on your waist. You do the best you can with what you've got, and just keep working that posterior pelvic tilt for 3, 2, keep your legs straight, 1, hands to heart center, swing your arms back a little bit, step forward. Other side, please. This time stare at your right foot. Drag your left foot straight back into a scissor stance. And it's okay if you take multiple steps, and if you're a little wobbly, all that stuff is fine. Just make sure that you're safe. Internally rotate your left leg, square off your hips. If you can, bring your arms up overhead for pyramid pose preparation. And breathe. Legs straight, arms straight, even if they're not over your head. Posterior pelvic tilt, and deep breathing in your tummy, up through your ribs, maybe up into your chest. Exhale. Keep breathing for 3, 2, 1. Hands to heart center. Swing your arms back a little bit, step forward. Reset your posture with mountain pose. Tuck your pelvis under, tone your legs, get your legs vertical. Rotate the pelvis around the bottom socket of your hip. Inhale. Exhale, drop your hands. Good. Now let's get ourselves to the center of the mat, and we'll take a wide stance. Do your best to make sure your feet are pointing forward. Don't let your feet turn out if you can help it. And your legs as wide as you feel comfortable. Bring your hands to your waist. Bend your knees slightly, about 20 degrees. Straighten your arms. Touch the front of your thighs, please. Inhale. As you exhale, lift your tailbone, anterior pelvic tilt, and then lift your chest bone, spinal extension. Big breath here. Exhale, rearward shift. Push your hips back, but keep your chest lifted, keep your tailbone lifted, keep your arms straight, keep your legs slightly bent. Breathe. Try to get into the hamstrings a little bit here. You should feel sensations in your hamstrings, in your glutes, and in a good way, your low back and all the way up your spine. Externally rotate your arms. Squeeze your shoulder blades together for 3, 2, 1. Stay toned. Use your legs, use your hips, please, and stand up. Good. Now let's bring our feet together. Mountain pose. Hands to heart center. Inhale. Exhale and drop your hands. Good. Let's take our feet wide for triangle pose. So all of that, the extended arms mountain pose, the pyramid preparation pose, all that has led up to triangle pose. So now when we're moving in and out of this and the other poses to come, should feel a little easier to access. We might get a little deeper than we're used to. If you're facing me, this is your right leg. Internally rotate your right leg about 30 degrees. Left leg goes about 90 degrees. Keep both legs toned, please. Start with your hips level, spine straight, shoulders square. Let your front hand touch your front thigh. Inhale. As you exhale, drive your hips to your right. We're trying to hinge at the ball and socket joint of that left leg. Keep your hand on your hip for right now. Breathe with me, please. When you feel stuck, stop. Take your top arm, keep your hand on your waist, and at first, set your shoulder blade. Squeeze your shoulder blade towards your spine. When your shoulder blade feels set, straighten your top arm for triangle pose. And breathe. And you're working it. You're working your legs. You're working the hinge. You're working your shoulder blade. Externally rotate both arms for 3. Keep breathing. 2, 1. Tone your legs. Come up to the shape of a T, please. Drop your arms. Good. Now we'll take the left leg, internally rotate it 30 degrees. Right leg goes 90 degrees. Tone your legs. Square off your hips, please. Inhale. As you exhale, hinge over your front leg. Hinge over your front leg. Not in front of it, not behind it, directly over it. When you feel stuck, pause, breathe. Set your shoulder blades, set your top arm, breathe please. Keep your legs toned. Keep working all the actions of the pose. Externally rotating your front leg, internally rotating your rear leg, externally rotating both arms for 3. Stay toned. 2, 1. Come up to the shape of a T, please. Drop your arms. Good. Let's turn our feet under our bodies. Rear leg will point to 0 degrees. Front leg will go to 90 degrees. You might have to shimmy and shuffle your feet apart. You might need to bring them closer together, and that's okay. Double check that you're set up properly. Hands to your waist, please. Inhale. As you exhale, we go into Warrior 2. You're trying to drop both hips evenly. Get to the position where your front knee is more or less over your front ankle bone. Rear leg straight, hands out to a T, and breathe, please. Warrior 2. Externally rotate both arms. Squeeze your shoulder blades towards your spine. And you're trying to sink into the pose for 3, 2, keep your legs active. 1, straighten your front leg, please. Drop your arms. Good. Let's turn that rear leg. Now goes to 0. This front leg goes to 90. Hands to your waist, please. Inhale. As you exhale, bend your front leg as little or as much as you like. Just make sure your knee is more or less over your ankle bone, and do your best to keep your hips relatively level. Hands out to a T, please. Inhale. Exhale, we're in Warrior 2 now. Reach through your thumbnails. Reach through your pinky nails. Squeeze your shoulder blades towards your spine for 3, 2, 1. Straighten your front leg, please, and drop your arms. Good. Let's turn our feet one more time. This time your right leg is pointing to 0, left leg points to 90. Hands to your waist, side angle pose. Inhale. Exhale. Set up for Warrior 2. Take your time. Make sure everything is correct. Feet, legs, torso upright, hands out to a T. Inhale. As you exhale, reach out over your front leg. When you feel stuck, brace yourself and karate chop your bottom arm down. We get into side angle pose and breathe. Try to keep this rear hip down. It has a tendency to want to lift. So put a little extra attention right there and breathe. For 3, 2, 1. Windmill up to Warrior 2. Straighten your front leg, please. Drop your arms. Good. Let's go side angle, opposite side. Get your feet correct. Rear foot 0 degrees. Front foot 90 degrees. Inhale. Exhale, we get set up for Warrior 2. Hands out to the T. Big inhale. As you exhale, reach out over your front leg. When you feel stuck, karate chop your bottom arm down, top arm to a T, and breathe. Rear leg straight and strong. Front leg bent and strong. Torso strong. Hang in there for 3, 2, 1. Come up to the shape of a T, please. Straighten your leg. Drop your arms. Let's bring our feet together any way you can. I toe heel my feet together. It just gives me a little bit of joint mobility for the hips, but it also seems to take the tension out of the hips. You can come to mountain pose any way you can safely. Check and correct your feet, please. Mountain pose. Breathe here. Recharge your posture here for 3, 2, 1. And drop your hands. Good work. Let's take it to the ground. Let's go ahead and take it to the ground. Come on down nice and easy. Cross your legs if it's possible. If it's impossible, just sit up the best way that you can. Just make sure your spine is straight, shoulders square. If it's possible, bring your arms up overhead. Big inhale. Exhale. Turn your ribs to your right. Once you feel stuck, drop your hands and we continue to do spinal twist. Every time you inhale, get tall. Every time you exhale, turn your ribs. Inhale, tall. Exhale, turn. One more time. Inhale, tall. Exhale, turn. Keep breathing. Turn your face toward the front and gently unwind, please. Good. Let's switch shins. If it's applicable, sit up top. Inhale, bring your arms up. Exhale, turn your ribs to the opposite side. When you feel stuck, just drop your hands. Every time you inhale, get a little taller. Every time you exhale, turn your ribs just a little more. Breathe. You're trying to turn your belly button, your kidneys, your floating ribs, your bottom ribs, eventually works its way up to your shoulders. Every inhale, tall. Every exhale, turn. Turn your face forward, please. Slowly unwind, please. Both hands to your knees. Inhale. Exhale. Good. And let's lie down on our mats, please. We had a special request for yoga abs, so let's get to it. Now, lying flat on your back, just bring your knees to your chest. Take a second, make sure your hips are square, spine is straight, shoulders square, etc. We have 2 levels for the yoga abs today. Level 1, keep your knees where they are. So you got to use a little bit of abs muscles to hold your knees in place. Interlace your fingers behind your head. Don't pull with your hands though. Try to keep your elbows out to the side. Inhale. Using your abs muscles, exhale. Lift your skull, lift your shoulders, and maybe lift a couple of ribs. Now this is a variation of the bicycle. We're going to do 2 variations today. So here's inhale. As you exhale, think of bringing your left armpit to your right knee. Inhale back to center. Exhale, right armpit, left knee. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, left armpit, right knee. Inhale, back to center. Right armpit, left knee. And repeat that a few times. Now if you gaze up here, you notice that as I turn, my elbows stay open wide. I want to encourage you to do the same. If you keep your elbows wide, you're less likely to pull on your neck. That means you're less likely to strain your neck. Fingers are just here to kind of hold your head up like a little pillow. Back to center, and then lie flat on your back, please. Hold on to your kneecaps. Now that's bicycles, phase 1, variation 1. If you like, stay there and repeat that. If you want to try variation 2, follow along with me, please. And here's what we'll try. Keep your knees in place. Interlace your fingers behind your head, just like we did before. Inhale. Exhale. Use your abs to lift your skull. Shoulder blades a little bit off the ground and your ribs a little bit off the ground. Here's the difference. When we inhale, we're here. When we're exhale, right armpit to left knee, right foot touches the ground. Inhale, back to center. Left armpit to right knee, left foot touches the ground. Back to center. And repeat. Now technically, I need to do these a little bit better because I can feel that I'm rolling around a little bit. Try not to roll around. You're trying to leave as much real estate on the yoga mat as possible. And really just working on the flexion, the rotation of the trunk. It's not easy, but it's very beneficial. You'll feel it in your abs. Come on back to center. Gently lower yourself back down to the ground, please, and hold on to your kneecaps. Steady breathing. Double check to make sure your hips are square, spine is straight, shoulders are square. When you feel ready, let one foot touch the ground, let the other foot touch the ground. Let one leg drag flat on the ground, let the other leg drag flat on the ground. Breathe here. Now one thing you may want to try, I'll show it to you, you see if you want to do it. One thing that I'll do sometimes, bend my knees just a tiny little bit. Take my hands and physically adjust my hips to posterior pelvic tilt. And I just get as much of my low back on the ground as possible. Now keeping as much of my low back on the ground as possible, I extend my legs again. So that puts a little bit of traction on the low back. If you get it just right, it seems weird, but if you get it right, it feels like it's pulling your britches down a little bit. But that's the traction that you're going to get on your low back while you lie and rest. Just let your legs relax. Next thing you can try, if you like, is gently lift your head up. So just take your hands, gently lift your head up, tuck your chin a little bit, and then lay your head flat on the mat. So you're more or less, your head is more, I beg your pardon, your face is more or less parallel to the ground. You're not looking at the wall behind you. You're not, necessarily looking towards your feet. Your face is more or less parallel to the ground. Bring your arms by your side, turn your palms up. Inhale. Exhale. And close your eyes, please. And now, try to do nothing. Don't do anything for about a minute, and I'll bring us out of meditation. Keep your eyes closed as you start to come back. Wiggle your toes and wiggle your fingers. Roll your ankles and roll your wrists. Just start to breathe normal again. Put a smile on your face. Even a big old fake smile will give you the same benefits as a genuine smile. It's all the same. Put a smile on your face. It'll emphasize the positive side effects of your yoga practice. Bring your knees to your chest, please, one last time. And gently, let's roll over to one side. Use your hands as a pillow and just breathe. Pause here for a moment. Just a couple more breaths. Now come on up to a seated position as gracefully as possible. Cross your legs, please, or not. However you can sit up nice and tall. Bring your hands to heart center. Thank you for joining me for Beginner's Yoga. I hope you will go forth and be awesome. Namaste.